if you have curly hair, decoding your curl type can help you make the best decisions to keep your hair happy. So Keisha is here to break it down for us with the 101 on all things curls. Okay, Keisha, I'm so happy we're talking about that. So is it better to determine your curl pattern when your hair is wet or dry?
Right. Hey, Tracy.
Hey.
So determining your curl pattern is always best when your hair is dry. Reason being, there are sometimes many textures on one head, and when those textures are wet, they can look looser or tighter. So it's really best to see how they dry naturally in order to determine the curl type.
Okay, that's good to know, and I wouldn't have necessarily thought of that.
Sure.
So what do we need to be looking for when we're trying to figure out our curl type?
So there are 4 main categories of hair. So when we're typing textures of hair, they range from the 1 to 4 types. 1 types tend to be straighter hairs. So we're going to focus on 2 to 4. So 2 to 4 are curly types, 2 being the loosest curl type, 3 being kind of in the middle, and then we have 4 being our tightest curl types. Under those curl types, we have subcategories A, B, and C, and those kind of define how tight that curl is within that category.
Okay, so there's a lot to know when it comes to curl types, right? We're going to get into some of the subcategories, and we're going to start with our model, Amber. So give her some love. Come on in, Ambs. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what Amber's curl type would be.
Sure, so Amber here, she has lovely long curly hair. We love that. She is in our 2 category.
Okay, so 2 curl.
That's right. So 2 A, B, and C. A 2A would look like more like a wave. A B, the wave kind of gets tighter, and then C is kind of what we have here with Amber's. So that more of that ringlet curl, but it's still looser in texture.
So Ambs, I'm just going to turn you around because this is the situation with most of us. Most of us have different curls within our one head,
That's right. That's totally right. So a lot of the time, too, if you're someone who ties or clips back their hair a lot, you might have looser curls in the front or back. And just naturally, sometimes it happens where we have looser textures underneath or in the front as well.
What would she be doing in terms of styling her 2, did you say 2B, C?
She's a 2C.
Her 2C curls.
So the 2 family as a whole, we want to keep the products nice and light. Usually volume is what we're trying to impart in the hair, and we also need to impart moisture because that's just what curly hair needs as a whole.
Okay.
When she's styling, especially the holidays are coming up, we want volume, we want glam, we want big hair. Scrunching this type of texture is really going to help give and bring out that texture and more volume at the roots as well.
Okay.
Again, lighter products towards the roots, some more holds around the bottom. So I love the Inner Sense line, which I've brought a couple products from that line today. This line is organic. It's nice and light. They have a volumizing line for curly hair. Their volumizing foam is great on the roots, and then we go into a water-based gel on her ends.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ambs. Very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we're going to talk about type 3 curls, and you say your hair is a perfect example.
Right. I am a type 3 girl.
Yes.
I have a mix of type 3B and C, I would say. Again, I tend to tie my hair back sometimes, so the front can get looser. I have a couple looser pieces throughout. For me, moisture is really key. I often say that as the curl gets tighter, the more moisture that the hair needs. So for me, I like volume, so I'm not shy, obviously, when it comes to volume.
Bigger the better.
Well, seeing my big hair. So I really like the curl foams. They give you moisture. They give you, yes. So we have one from the Dew. We have one from Pattern. They both work really similarly in terms of creating definition, but also not weighing the hair down.
Beautiful. So curl foams is what you do.
Curl foams
do you do a scrunch?
I do a scrunch sometimes. I mostly rake the product through, and this is true for 3 and 4 categories. We want to rake the product through, and sometimes we can do the praying hands, which is just kind of smoothing out those sections.
Beautiful. Okay, next up we have our model, Nicole, to talk about type 4 hair. Come on in, Nick. She is famous today, let me tell you. Segment number 2 is a model.
Busy lady.
So let's talk a little bit about her curl type. So type 4 curls.
So Nicole is type 4. As far as the subcategorizing goes, I'd say she's about a 4B. So she has that more of a spiral type of curl, and a 4A is very similar as well. It's more of a spiral. B and C textures, there is a little bit of overlap. So with B, you can have very, very tight coils, and then they can also transition into zigzags even, and that would be more so the C family.
Got it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about about what Nick would do in terms of treatment for her.
Sure. So
her curls.
again, like I mentioned, the curl foams, they're great. If Nicole wants some volume, she knows she's going to a work party, all that stuff. We can do, and if she wants volume day one, we're going to use something like a curl foam. If she wants more longevity to her style and she needs it to last a few days, she's going to want to look at something like a curl custard. So here we have the Adwoa line as well as Uncle Funky's Curly Magic.
Okay.
So
Uncle Funky, I just like the title.
I know, right?
Uncle's Funky.
Yeah.
So those two are good for that?
Yes. So heavier gels will kind of impart more moisture as well as more longevity for her style. Another issue with these textures are shrinkage.
Yeah.
So we can just see here, if I gently just pull out Nicole's hair, it's actually very long, right? And then it just springs back up.
Right. Curls doing what their curls do.
That's right. So products like this also help give some length to the curls as well, elongate.
And when would you use a mask?
So I would use a mask all the time, but especially now it's winter, it's dry, we need more moisture.
Okay.
So I usually recommend, if you are color treated, definitely weekly.
Yeah.
If you're not, you're a natural curly, at least bi-weekly. So every other week is great.
Beautiful.
Some of the ones that are my favorite, again, the Pattern line, Briogeo, and Adwoa, all black-owned brands, and you can find them all at Sephora as well.
Thank you so much for that. Great tips, Keisha.
Thank